Good morning. Today I'm going to be doing a video on dehydrating beef. And today is already a gnarly morning. I worked late last night and then I got maybe 4 hours of sleep. My alarm went off at 6 a.m. I turned it off and I did it to myself. I went back to bed and woke up at 7, but I have to be somewhere at 9 a.m., which means I have to leave my house at about 8:15, 8:30, but I need to get this ground beef cooking so that I can put it into the dehydrator before I leave. So I'm going to show you what kind of beef I'm using, and then I've already got the skillet on. I'm getting it nice and hot, and then yeah, this part of the video is going to be rushed a little bit because I didn't manage my time well, and I thought I could get away with just a little bit of sleep, and a little bit of sleep turned into a lot of bit of sleep. So we're just going to get started. So anyway, it's going to come out backwards. Sorry, I'm still technologically challenged. I don't know how to flip things. But anyways, this I purchased from Walmart. You can go to the butcher shop too. A lot of the time I do go to the butcher shop, but a lot of the time I also get it from Walmart. So it's whatever floats your boat. It's whatever budget you're within, all that good stuff. So this is 96% lean, 4% fat. And that is what you want. You want the highest amount of lean that you can get versus your fat. This is just a 1 pound little chub. But one-pound chubs produce these, so it's quite a bit of meat in there. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start cooking the beef, and then I have to run to my appointment, and when I come back we'll go over more of the details. You ever have an idea of what you think your morning is gonna be, and then you wake up and it's nothing like that? It is nothing like what I thought it was going to be like this morning. I was going to wake up, I was going to wash my hair, I was going to put on more makeup, I was going to look cute. Not achieved. Mission not complete. Nope. So, sorry. Anyhow, we have the beef cooking right now, and what I have to do before I leave this house, the beef has to be cooked all the way through. No pink. Do not leave any pink. Cook that ground beef all the way through. Once you've cooked it all the way through, you may or may not want to let it cool down. I think that's kind of like a ball that's in your court. Me, I do not care. And because I'm in a rush this morning, I don't have the privilege of caring. I have to get it done. So, once it's done cooking, I will get a plate. You're going to be using paper towels, so make sure that you have paper towels. And then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to press a lot of that fat off of the ground beef. You don't want to cook your ground beef in fat because it's going to produce enough on its own that you don't really need to do that. But you'll definitely want to absorb as much of the fat as you can off. Of course, you won't get all of it, but try your best. Do what you can. And then we will put it into our dehydrator, flip that bad boy on, and we're going to go to our appointment. So I'm going to finish cooking this and then transition. Okay, so while the beef was cooking, I prepped my station. So as soon as it's, sorry, the camera's going to move a whole lot. Shaky hands. I have a Nesco dehydrator. I eventually want to get an Excalibur, but for right now, I have the Nesco. So this is what the tray looks like by itself. And I always use this guy. You can use, it's probably more preferable to use like an actual tray. So I'll show you what a tray looks like. I have these guys as well, but I personally am not a huge fan of using them. However, just an FYI, if you do decide to use this method, at the very end of your project, you're going to have a mess to clean up. All the little bits are going to make their way through. So again, if you want to use a tray, go for it, use a tray. So we have our work area prepped and ready to go. So all it's going to take is for us to transition everything over. I already have my plate ready. I got my paper towels, and we will start doing this. So I try not to record this way because in my last video, the footage came up like super duper small. But this is my setup. This is the plate that I'm going to be using, my paper towels. I'm going to lay a paper towel down, create an even 1-layer surface of ground beef, put a paper towel over it, and just keep building upon that, and then transition it over to these bad boys. Okay, so here is the first layer of ground beef. I do try to space it out and create a one level. This way you have the opportunity to soak up as much extra fat as you can. You can see that the 96 really doesn't produce a lot of fat, obviously. So there's not going to be a whole lot that you have to absorb, but you're still going to want to try to absorb what you're able to. Because again, when you're dehydrating, oil is going to be your worst enemy because the oil is going to contribute to that food going rancid. So the less oil that you have, the better. So that's why you don't want really any oil, but that's why we go through the process of making sure that we've removed as much. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to be on my way. Okay, so before I actually move on, this is what your 96 to 4 is going to look like when you put a paper towel and you press on it. This side is double layered up, so you're not going to be able to see as much. But see, there's still a lot of oil that you want to try to get up. You also want to make sure that you have an adequate amount of paper towels. I now have to go get some. But anyways, this is why you want to absorb, because you want to get rid of all of this. Okay guys, so this is what my tray looks like. Evenly distributed, right? We've absorbed as much as we possibly can, but nothing is pink. None of the bits are pink, which is good. You want everything cooked all the way through. One even layer. And again, this is how I choose to do it. Always do your own research. Always, you know, I watched a lot of videos. I read a lot of things about dehydrating, and I am not saying that this is a perfect process at all by any means, but this is the way that I do it in our house. But you have to figure out what works best for your home. So if you are going to do it with just the tray and just the netting, just remember to be emotionally prepared for a mess. Okay, this is all the little bits that fell out. I personally don't care. In my mind, I think that this is a better way of doing it because more air is able to get to all of it, even from underneath. So I don't know. That's just the way that my mind justifies it. So this is what we're doing. And we're on our last bit of paper towels. So my husband and I are going to have to make a trip to Sam's Club soon. All right, guys, so it is all in the dehydrator. It is going. Right now it's at 160. That's as high as my Nesco will go. And this will dehydrate for approximately 10-ish hours. I will be checking on it when I come home to see where it's at. And check us out. We got that done with about 7 minutes to spare, and it probably would have, well, it would have taken less time if I wasn't stopping and filming and stopping and filming. So it is a quick and easy process, and my favorite part about dehydrating is that you, besides the prep work, all you do is chuck it in the dehydrator, turn it on, and walk away and go about your business. And that is what I like. So as of right now, this is my preferred method of food preservation. But I'm still wanting to learn how to can. I can can some things like jellies and jams. I mean, we don't have to buy any of those for a long time coming. But I also want to learn how to pressure cook. I have a pressure cooker, but I also have a glass top stove, and I'm not 100% excited about using that on there, and I have read you're not supposed to, so I have to find a different way of doing that. So as of right now, this is what I'm doing. And I purchased the Nesco dehydrator because it was a good value and within my budget at the time of purchase, which was about 2 years ago. Ooh, I'm gonna make my phone malfunction. Anyway, so 2 years ago I purchased it. It probably sat in a box for a year because I didn't know what to do with it. And then I really haven't stopped using it since I opened it. My dehydrator is almost always going. So when I come back, I will show you some of the things that I have preserved. And it's really cool what you can do with this. It really is. And the fact that you can reconstitute it with water, which is the only reason why I'm doing this. Like if I couldn't do anything with it after I dehydrated it, it would be a total and complete waste of time. But it can be reconstituted with hot water and return back to just about its normal state. So anyway, we're gonna go to our appointment and then we'll be back. Memphis, sit. Sit pretty, sit pretty. Oh yeah, good boy. Do you hear your friends? Go to your pen. Go. Come on. Oh. This is Memphis. He is 3 years old. He's a good boy. Huh? Yeah, he's a good boy. Oh, he's a good boy. Oh, I know. Oh, and he's a big boy too. Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so I just wanted to show you a couple of things that I have dehydrated so far. When I first started out, I started out with frozen vegetables, and so we have quite a bit of that. This is 2 bags from Great Value worth of dehydrated vegetables. So when you pull the water out, it loses its volume, which is part of why I prefer doing the dehydrated as opposed to canning. I still enjoy canning, I still can, but dehydration is probably right now like my more preferred method of food preservation, just because you can put it in Mylar bags. You can put full-blown meals in Mylar bags. They're like ridiculously lightweight, and you can store more of it in a smaller space. So this is why right now I just prefer dehydrating. We have mini peppers, sweet peas. These are the 96 lean 4% fat ground beef that I've already dehydrated, and you can hear the tink 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 tink. When you hear the tink, that's a good sound. If you hear more of a thud, no bueno. Put it back in the dehydrator. Part of your dehydration process is conditioning, so you have to go back and forth like this with your jars for a while. I don't know how long. I do it out of habit now at this point. But you're just checking and making sure that there is no moisture in there, because if there is moisture in there, this is going to go bad very quickly. Especially because there is a certain amount of fat in ground beef that the oils will make this go rancid very quickly if you don't do it correctly, if you don't take your time, if you don't make sure that you are doing the very best you can from point A to point B. I've also done turkey. So this is, I don't know if you can see from that far away, but there's turkey. We have more turkey. And then these little guys are just from the first things that I started to dehydrate. So we have asparagus, and then this is going to be cauliflower, carrot, broccoli, and there's something else in there. Oh gosh, sugar pea, something like that. And then we have dehydrated rhubarb, dehydrated spaghetti. This one wouldn't be a good one for like super long-term storage because of the like tomato sauce. Like you really want to be super duper careful with how you do spaghetti. because again, this is one of those things that could go rancid really quickly if it's not done the appropriate way. So these I did August 2022. So in 1 month, I'm gonna open up one bag and just see where I'm at, see if I did it successfully or if I completely bombed. We will see. What else do we have? Dehydrated zucchini. This looks like nothing. There is so much zucchini in here, it's ridiculous. This is oatmeal with blueberries. Blueberries again, and this is why it's so important that if you want to dehydrate, you gotta look this stuff up on your own. I do a whole bunch of research, I've read a whole bunch of things. The decision that I've made for the stuff I've dehydrated was my decision for my home. I very, very strongly advise that you do the research for yourself as well. Never take anybody's word. We always want to be able to trust what we hear, but trust but verify. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. Anyhow, so this is oatmeal. I did put dry milk in here. Yeah, includes dry milk and also spices. So I just put a certain amount of dry milk into its own separate bag and the spices into its own separate bag. When I do this again, what I will do is I will not use blueberries, but I will also, the only thing in here that isn't dehydrated are the oats. And I think next time I will just make the oatmeal outright and then dehydrate it, and then break it up to fit it in here. Yeah. Falling all over the place. We have dehydrated asparagus and dehydrated sweet potato. One of my more favorite things that I've dehydrated though, and I'm gonna have to do it again because clearly I am running low. So this is, oh my gosh, I need to make some ASAP. Hold on. Yeah, this is made at home garlic powder, which trust me is amazing. I don't know how it's possible, but it's better than purchasing it at a grocery store. You wouldn't think that there would be a difference, but there is. And this is homemade onion powder. And it is amazing. So you can make your own powders, you can make your own spices, and that's another thing that I want to learn how to make are the at-home spices. Just because the salt content in so much of what we purchase at the grocery store is like through the roof. And my husband once upon a time had CKD, and so we just learned to be mindful of our intake, right? So that is where we're at. This is what I wanted to show you. This isn't everything, but this is a representation of what it is that I've been working on. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. And it is so easy. You prep the food, you throw it in here, you walk away. You walk away. And then you come back, you store it the way that you should, and you move on with life. And I enjoy that. So one of the other things that I wanted to show you was I made sweet potato chips the other day, and they are so good. So I did purchase a mandolin, right? You want to be careful when you use those, but I purchased a mandolin, and it just helps maintain the consistency so you don't have like one thick piece, one thin piece, so it all dehydrates evenly. But anyways, this is sweet potato. It was one whole sweet potato that was peeled, 2 tablespoons of EVOO, or no, I'm sorry, it was avocado oil that I used. Avocado oil. And then I did fresh cracked Himalayan salt and smoked paprika. And that is what is on this. It's obviously not the same as what we're used to, but it is delicious and it is better for us. And I've had these for, I think I made these like 3 days ago. and they're delicious. My husband loves them. So I make a lot of snacks like that. I do a lot of like apple chips. We do apple chips, pineapple chips. Sometimes I keep it to where they're still chewy. It just depends on what we're wanting. But our apple chips, those are my favorite and my husband's favorite. And it's just super easy. You just pour cinnamon and sugar into one bowl, slice up your apples, dip them in your cinnamon sugar, throw them on your trays, kick it on, walk away. Boom, done. So that's our favorite snack. And I think that's it for now. Okay, I'm gonna take this out and show you real quick where we're at. This is currently what our dehydrated ground beef looks like. It's getting pretty close. Pretty close. It might even be good enough to pull right now, but I'm gonna let it stay in there for a little while longer. Okay, you know what I just noticed is that this one right here, which means there's like 4 jars that are gonna have the same date, March 19th, 2022. Do you know what that means? This is 1 year old. This is corn, sweet peas, carrots. It had a birthday. 1 year old. That's amazing. I just saw that and I wanted to share that with you. So 1 year. This is 1 year of dehydrated goodness. Which also means that this one is as well 1 year old because these were done at the same exact time. So another useful hint, make sure that you put dates on stuff. The only reason why I know this is the same is because I know that these were both made in the same day. So these are our sweet peas. This is gonna sound really dumb, and I'm gonna put myself out there with saying this, but I still wanna call these green beans. And for whatever reason, I genuinely have to stop and think, these are sweet peas. These are not green beans. Sweet peas, not green beans. So anyway, but these are also 1 year old. So very exciting. I'm wondering if one of these days I should open one of the because I said next month I'm going to open up the spaghetti bag, and maybe I will film it and we can see together whether or not I epically failed or if it worked. I might. I think that would be good documentation. Would be the sun is just doing its thing today. She pops in, she pops out, she pops in. We're supposed to have, so I live in Missouri, and I know for my state, I'm sure surrounding states as well, but we are supposed to have really crazy storms tomorrow. Tornadoes, high winds. And so tomorrow I'm going to be I did a video a while back about my blackout bag. So tomorrow I'm actually going to take my blackout bag with me to work. There's a couple extra things I'm going to be putting in it just in case. You don't know. The store that I work in was hit by a tornado 3 years ago. So I am not above thinking that it could potentially happen again. And if it does, I want to be as prepared as possible. So tomorrow, I guess may or may not, but they're making a bigger deal about it. So tomorrow's weather is supposed to be super gnarly. So if you live in the area and your forecast is telling you that there's potential wind and crazy storms and tornadoes, be mindful, be as prepared as you can. And yeah, we will see what happens tomorrow. Okay, so we have reached the end of our day and our beef is done dehydrating. So I'm going to let you listen to what it sounds like. What the sound you should hear is when you drop one of these into your glass jar. Um, Trying to find a decent piece. Okay. It should be a tink. It shouldn't be a thud. Um, you hear that? Tink. That's what it's supposed to sound like. From my understanding, dehydration still doesn't pull out 100% of the water like freeze drying does. Freeze drying does take out 100% of the water, but if you haven't checked on the prices of freeze dryers, you would understand why your girl's over here dehydrating with my Nesco, okay? And I'm proud of her. She's been working hard for a year and a half. So, and she's still going, okay? So this is one of the trays. So here's tray number 1. And show you tray number 2. This is tray number 2. So this I'm going to have to scoop with just a regular spoon into my glass jar. Wash my trays. And then I do put, one of the things that I didn't mention earlier is oxygen absorbers. You want to use those. I don't think you have to necessarily, but it does help prolong the life of the dehydrated food that you're storing. So I do choose to use oxygen absorbers. They're right now, they're like dirty cheap. So it's worth it. And most of the time when you order Mylar bags, they come with the Mylar bags, but you always want to double check. Every time I've purchased any Mylar bags, they've always come with. So oxygen absorbers, put your cap on, put it in a nice dark place, leave it alone, move on with life, make your next thing. So I'm going to continue to work on more so learning how to dehydrate full-blown meals. And I can't remember what her name is. I really wish that I could right now, but I can't. But anyways, there's someone on YouTube who like just, that's what she does, is she dehydrates meals. And so it's not just like my jars where it's like just sweet peas or, you know, a veggie medley. It's full-blown meals. And I was inspired really to do the meals because there was this couple that started popping up on my I think my YouTube reels. I think they started popping up everywhere, but they're a hiking couple and they would dehydrate all of this amazing food, and then as they're on their journey, people would ship them their food to be able to eat. Super lightweight, easy for them to use for hiking, super delicious, and like full-blown meals. So they are the ones that, and I don't remember their name either. I'm useless. But anyway, they are the ones that really inspired me to do more meals because I didn't even think that meals were possible to dehydrate effectively. I'm sure that we can dehydrate anything that we want, but is it successful is what I'm looking for. And they dehydrated all kinds of stuff. So I was super inspired by them. And that is it. That is today, guys. This video is probably only going to be 25 minutes long, but this has literally been an all-day process. So I'm going to go ahead and put my stuff in my jar and kick my feet up. So anyway, thank you for being here. If you have any tips or tricks, anything that you've learned on the way for dehydrating, please leave it in the comments down below. I really enjoy the community that, you know, that does this stuff. Everybody is usually really helpful with each other. So I value that in the homemakers world, you know. So anyway, thank you for being here. Have a lovely day.